You sit down to check your accounts. The numbers look fine. Actually, they look better than 5 years ago. So why does something feel heavier? You scroll past the checking balance, past the savings, past the 401k. And there it is. That quiet, low hum of "this isn't enough." You close the app before you can name it. Here's the part nobody warned you about. Most men in their 40s aren't going broke. They're getting quietly poorer while looking quietly richer. The income climbs, the title improves, the house gets a little nicer, and underneath all of it, your real wealth is slipping sideways. This is the trap that doesn't announce itself. No crash, no layoff, no emergency, just a slow drift away from the future you assumed you were building. And the men it hits hardest are the ones doing everything that looks right. Earning more, spending reasonably, saving something, telling themselves they'll get serious next year. Let me show you what's actually happening underneath the surface. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Your 40s are the decade where your income peaks faster than your wealth does. That gap is where the bleeding happens. Quietly, consistently, without alarms. A man at 42 earning $180,000 feels wealthier than the same man at 32 earning 90, but often his net worth has barely moved. Sometimes it's gone backwards. The math is brutal but invisible. Lifestyle expanded to absorb the raise. Taxes took a bigger bite. The mortgage got upgraded. The cars got newer. The vacations got longer. And the savings rate, the only number that actually builds wealth, stayed almost exactly the same, or dropped, while he felt richer than ever. This is what I call the income illusion. It's the most dangerous financial feeling a man can have in his 40s, because it tells you you're winning when you're not. You're not failing, you're inflating. And inflation in your own life is harder to see than inflation in the economy because it hides inside things you chose. The new kitchen, the bigger SUV, the kids' activities that quietly cost $12,000 a year, the dinners you barely remember, the subscriptions you forgot you had. None of it feels reckless. That's the trap. Reckless spending is easy to spot. Reasonable spending, multiplied across a decade, is what actually drains a man. By the time most guys hit 45, they look around and notice something strange. Their friends seem to be doing better. The houses look bigger. The cars look newer. The trips look fancier. So they push harder, they earn more, they spend more to keep pace, and the quiet bleed accelerates, dressed up as success. Here's the part that stings. The average 45-year-old American man has saved a fraction of what he'll actually need, not half, often less than a quarter. And he doesn't know it because the 401k balance looks like a big number. 200,000, 300, maybe more. It feels like a fortress. But run that number against 30 years of retirement, healthcare inflation, and the lifestyle he's gotten used to, and the fortress turns into a tent. He just hasn't done the math yet. This is a wound underneath everything in your 40s. The suspicion that the math doesn't work, paired with the fear of actually running it. So you don't run it. You keep working. You keep earning. You keep telling yourself the next bonus, the next promotion, the next year will fix it. And the decade keeps moving, faster than any decade before it. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Leo, I'm doing fine. I max my 401k. I have equity in the house. I'm not the guy in this video. Maybe. But let me ask you something quietly. When was the last time you actually projected your numbers forward? Not glanced, projected. Most men who think they're fine have never run a real retirement projection. They've run a feeling, and feelings about money in your 40s are almost always more generous than the math. Because your 40s are when your brain starts protecting you from numbers it doesn't want to face. That protection costs you a decade. There's another layer to this, and it's the one nobody talks about. Your 40s are when your earning power peaks, but your earning years start counting down. A dollar saved at 25 has 40 years to compound. A dollar saved at 45 has maybe 20. The math gets twice as expensive, and most men don't feel that shift until it's already happened. This is the advanced nuance most guides miss. It's not just how much you save in your 40s, it's how aggressively you defend the dollars you already have. Because in your 40s, capital preservation starts mattering as much as capital accumulation. One bad financial decision now can erase 10 good ones from your 30s. The boat, the business loan to the brother-in-law, the sure thing investment, the cash-out refinance, the new house at the top of the market. These aren't dumb moves made by dumb men. They're confident moves made by confident men, in the decade when confidence becomes the most expensive emotion you own. Let me pause here for a second, because I want to hear from you. If you're somewhere in this video right now, somewhere between 35 and 55, I'd like to know where you actually are. Not where you wish you were, where you actually are. Drop a comment and tell me one thing, not your balance, not your salary, just one financial decision in the last 5 years you'd quietly do differently if you could. You don't have to be specific. You don't have to share numbers, but your one sentence might be the exact sentence another man watching needs to read tonight. I read these, I learn from them, and I build future videos around the patterns I see in the comments, because the men watching this channel are some of the most honest voices on money I've ever come across. Now back to it. The healthy version of your 40s looks almost boring from the outside. Income rises, lifestyle stays mostly flat, savings rate climbs with every raise. The trap version of your 40s looks exciting from the outside. Bigger house, better car, better trips, same savings rate, quietly shrinking real wealth. Nobody throws a party for the boring version, but the boring version is the one that retires at 60 with options. The exciting version retires at 70 with regrets. This is the part where the wound gets sharper. Because by your mid-40s, you start to feel the years differently. They move faster. The runway looks shorter. You start hearing about peers having heart scares, parents getting sick, friends getting divorced. The financial buffer you thought was optional starts feeling urgent. And under all of it, a quiet question forms. Did I actually build something, or did I just spend a decade looking like I did? That question is the most important financial question a man can ask himself in his 40s. Most men avoid it. The ones who don't, change everything. Here's what the change usually looks like. It's not dramatic. It's not a budget app. It's not a new side hustle. It's a single decision. The decision to stop letting lifestyle expand automatically, to take the next raise and route most of it forward, not sideways, to let your future self feel the bonus more than your current self. It sounds simple. It is simple. It's also the hardest financial discipline most men ever build, because it requires saying no to a version of yourself who feels entitled to the upgrade. You earned the upgrade. That's true. The question isn't whether you earned it. The question is what it costs your 60-year-old self. Because your 60-year-old self is real. He's not abstract. He's the guy who'll either thank you or quietly resent you for the decisions you made tonight, this month, this year. And here's the part nobody says out loud. He's watching, not metaphorically. Through every choice you make in your 40s, he's getting a clearer or blurrier picture of the life he gets to live. Every dollar you defend is a vote for him. Every dollar you inflate away is a vote against him. There's no neutral in your 40s. The decade doesn't allow it. This is why the men who come out of their 40s wealthy aren't the ones who earn the most. They're the ones who let the least slip through their fingers. They didn't have better careers. They had better filters. They asked harder questions before saying yes to lifestyle upgrades. They ran the math before they ran the credit card. And they did one more thing, the thing almost nobody does. They tracked their net worth, not their income, as the real scoreboard. Because income is what you feel. Net worth is what you keep. And in your 40s, the gap between those two numbers is where your future quietly lives or quietly dies. If you've felt any of this while watching, the small chest tightness, the half recognition, the oh no moment, that's not a bad sign. That's the moment most men never let themselves have. That moment is the start of getting unstuck. The men who feel it and look away keep drifting. The men who feel it and look closer change the next 10 years of their lives. You don't have to overhaul anything tonight. You don't have to feel ashamed of what you've spent. You don't have to confess to your spouse, your friends, or your own ego. You just have to do one thing this week. Look at the actual numbers. Not the feeling about the numbers themselves, honestly, without flinching. That single act, repeated quarterly for the rest of your 40s, will put you ahead of probably 80% of the men in your income bracket. Not because they can't do it, because they won't. The quiet poverty of the 40s isn't about money. It's about avoidance. The men who stop avoiding become the men who stop bleeding. It really is that simple and that hard. If this video helped you see something you've been quietly avoiding, do me a small favor and hit the like button. It tells the algorithm to show this to another man who needs it tonight. If you're new here, subscribe and turn on the bell. This channel is built for men who want to think honestly about money instead of just performing it. And in the comments, tell me which part of this video landed hardest. Was it the income illusion? The math at 45? The vote for your 60-year-old self? I want to know. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing the inner work most men avoid. The fact that you watched a video like this all the way through already separates you from the drift. In the next one, I'm breaking down the 5 spending categories that quietly destroy a man's net worth between 40 and 50, and the one nobody ever names out loud. If tonight was the wake-up, the next video is the playbook. I'll see you there.